West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
These stakeholders have different roles in solving the problem. I have just stated some few. The central government it can solve the problem using policy development, enforcing the regulations, investing in conservation efforts, sustainable resource management and mobilization. Also, they can work on research and development. The different roles for the different stakeholders in finding solutions. The local governments, among others, the implementation of the local economic development, the LED strategy. We under GIZ, the strategy for West Nile, and I think the last time we were in the Fapach, we approved it. A lot of issues are embedded in that strategy which can be used really to solve the problems that we have stated above. How to improve our environment in a very sustainable way, and also even in fact an income generating way. They are all there. So if the local governments in the region can really implement the LED strategy, that will be good. Local governments also facilitate the public-private partnerships locally. I know central government can do up there, but local governments can also do this. Local governments are also responsible for managing and sustaining assets. There are many assets in their disposal. They have the land, some of them are controlling the industrial parks. How do we put these industrial parks to good use to promote sustainability leadership? How do we manage these buildings? And how do we manage the vehicles? Not many of them should be parked because they lack just some few spares. That is all sustainability leadership. Tradition and cultural leaders also have a role to play in making sure that we have really good promotion of the environment and sustaining it properly. They can do this using these different areas that we have stated. We have also our cultures. Some of our cultures are also very good in guiding and conserving the environment. So we need to also promote the cultures that really protect and conserve our environment. Also, we have private sector. Sometimes people think the private sector has no role in solving the problem of loss of biodiversity or loss of environment, the vegetation, and how do they contribute to that? They can do various things, including promoting businesses that are environmental friendly, and promote investments that promote the environment instead of destroying the environment. So our private sector is also key. In fact, it is the biggest employer, meaning that it's the driver of the economy. And if the private sector is not aware about these issues we are proposing, we are discussing, then we have problems. because they are the ones who are really at the front line doing the work. People are the ones who are promoting, they are the ones doing businesses in the different areas related to trees, the cutting of the trees, the charcoal, all these are business people. So they should be aware that this is really key. They can influence and impact on our environment. If they could channel the resources to instead promote the sustainability of the environment, then it will be very good. We have a problem of mindset in our community, because we think now that thing is really abstract, things to do with the environment, climate change, and you are not directly involved. So as leaders, we really need to think about improving, educating people, and promoting awareness and the mindset of the population, of the community, should change towards conserving the environment, instead of thinking that this is not my concern, I'm not concerned, and they are destroying, instead of really conserving and or promoting technologies and issues that will improve the environment. So we as the sustainability leaders, we at different levels, we should work on the mindset of our communities. Some of these issues, the background of how sustainable leaders will come. So the solutions, some of these problems, increase funding to environment at all levels, institutional levels, local government, private sector, central government, at any level. We should really make sure that when we are budgeting, we solve the problem by increasing the budgets. And then there is one thing of allocating money, and then really one thing in making really sure that that money allocated is put to good use. We also should look about that. Then also enforcing the policies will also solve part of the problems. Providing alternatives to fuel wood, this could be really an initiative, an opportunity for the private sector to see alternatives that they can provide. Also reduce the clearance of the forests. One of the solutions which we are now zeroing to is that we need, because of the problems I've listed, we need to promote and have leaders that promote environment. So we need to have sustainability leaders. That's one of the solutions, because these people can really guide in solving the problem. That's why I've highlighted it red and put it last. So we are now going to the real matter, sustainability leadership. What we have been discussing is, what are these leaders going to solve? What are the problems they are going to solve? Now, what is sustainability leadership? This is a new concept. Most people say now, what do you mean by sustainability leadership? By then, in fact, what is leadership then first? Before we talk about sustainability leadership, what is leadership? Leadership as there are many scholars, we are not really doing academic work here, but for our case of the lecture here, leadership is ability to influence and inspire and guide others towards a common goal or vision. So we are looking for these people who can guide, who can inspire us to solve the problems that we have listed there. So a leader is someone who possesses certain qualities and skills such as communication, vision, empathy, integrity, really to guide decision making. So we are looking for such people to help us in solving the problem that we have already described. Where do we get these people? Because normally they say the biggest issues always is to do with the leadership. If leadership is not there, people are not advocating about the environment and solving the issues and embedding all these things in every decision, then we have the impact of the pictures I showed you earlier. So we should look for people who can guide through those different categories, the religious leaders, the local government, all those traditional leaders at their different levels. How do they guide people to solve the problems that I put in the pictures that you have seen? Now, sustainability leadership. What is it? It is described here. Most people ask, what is sustainability leadership? We are prioritizing well-being of the people. We are thinking holistically. So if you are religious leaders, you are the government official, local government, central government, at any leader at any different level, including our students, you are all leaders at that level. You should have these attributes. Creating a culture of being together. All these are the attributes of sustainability leadership, that sustainable leaders should be able to possess to guide people in this problem which we have described. Now, this sustainability leadership has different characteristics that we are going to see. They are visionary. They are always thinking ahead, planning ahead. They don't see just near here. They are system thinkers. They think about the whole system, not only a small thing. You know that this one will cause this, will cause this, will cause this. They connect all the dots. Those are the people we are looking for in this region and in the whole Uganda to guide solve the problems that we have listed. They are authentic, they are purpose-driven, and they are collaborative. Those are the people we are looking for in order to solve the problems that we have listed. There are more characteristics of sustainable leaders. They are innovative and other characteristics listed here. So we are looking for people. We have already identified, we have defined the leaders, we have defined the sustainability leaders. We have now seen their characteristics. This is very important in solving the problems in West Nile. The importance of sustainability leaders. Because of these problems and how we can systematically bring people together, we have brainstormed and we think that we need some kind of sustainability leadership. We can call it any name, whether academy or center or where, in this region. So that some of those problems can be solved. These people, the institute or the center, will be used for capacity building. And also, the center can develop future leaders. Our students are there, not only within Moni University, but as you know, Moni University is a community university. The university has 3 mandates. We have teaching and learning, we have research and innovation, and we have community outreach. So this is part of our mandate for community outreach. And how do we train more people? We need to have this institute or center so that all the issues can be coordinated in one place. This is a public university, it's not going anywhere, and this is part of the mandate. So if we can really skill and train sustainability leaders, it will be good. And it will be a center for knowledge sharing. Also, it can be used for other issues, research, innovation, continuous mentoring of people. Every year, every 5 years, we have the cycle for election. New councillors coming in all the districts, the local governments here. There's capacity building needed for the local government people in the procurement. Our procurement, see the principal procurement officers here. Finance, we have been in capacity building finance people in some of the districts. And other sectors of leadership. This center would be used to spearhead the development of those people. And the center can also be used to other things, research and the other the things. Now, who can give lectures and talks in this center? We really need their people, very valuable people in this area. We have been attending meetings here. Some weeks ago, we are discussing the energy crisis in West Nile. We have very many leaders, political leaders, religious leaders, who have either retired or who are not retired, but practicing. Politicians, diplomats, those people can come and mentor new leaders in this region, at this center. There is a lot of mentoring needed in leadership in this area and mindset change. And which better place than Moni University, which is a public university, which is a community university, which is your university, to undertake this. So those people come to their own university to mentor their own citizens in the West Nile. So we could just be acting as a center, hosting them to come. You can even think about many of them already, opinion leaders among us, who really can be put to good use. I was in the Uganda Management UMI Institute. I did their masters in public administration. The institute has 2 wings. There are these academic people who have bachelor's, masters, PhD, professors. Then there is a wing for consultants and the practitioners who have a rich experience and teaching us the real things in front. We could do a similar thing. There are people from local governments who are retired cows and what. They can come to this institute, the center, whatever you call it, and they really mentor the new leaders, solve the problems of West Nile. Lastly, why should Moni host this? I've already emphasized, Moni is already known as a public university. We have the facilities, we have the people, the personnel, and we have all these things which are needed really to help guide the community in solving the problems that we have already listed above. So I think when we get these leaders mentored by the people we have already described, then the mindset will change and we shall have rallying people to really develop the West Nile region, and then we really achieve the potential. We always talk about our potential, our potential. How do we translate the potential to the real thing that we need to do? One of the issues is to do this. We need sustainability leaders to be mentored, to be promoted, to be developed, to be nurtured, so that they are in all the sectors, in the local governments, in the other sectors, the NGO, the private sector. We run courses to really change the mindset of people. So we recommend that we need to establish this center. We recommend that the people in the West Nile, the region, work together, unity. Always, the other time we were talking about here, during the meeting to do with the energy crisis, the Vice Chancellor was not there, I was representing him. We are not united. Then they give examples of other regions in the West Nile where people are united. They fight among, in Uganda, they can fight among themselves, but when it is the real development issues, them versus the other things, they come together. We need that kind of unity to solve the problems. If you have sustainable leaders and there's no unity, nothing will move. The local governments should implement LEP at the various levels. We need to bring the retired and the other leaders who have skill to come in and share their knowledge, and they lead the government to enforce the policies that they have already set. I thank you for listening.
Thanks so much. We shall keep the questions. We have questions for the panels. We shall keep the questions and allow the second presentation to finish. So for our members, let's pick certain interesting thing. We have questions that are defined for panels. We have the private sector group here, and then we have the development partners here, and then we have the government in different categories, and then as well as civil society and Muni University. So we have some questions for them. You know, as I earlier said, we are faced with the challenges of having limited resources world over. There is no part of this earth, my boss will agree with me, no any corner or any village of Germany is awash with the resources to be distributed all over the world. It's not there. It has never been and it will never be. The presentation outline is basically about the introduction of the various concepts here and there. Then we'll get into the public sector under those items. Then we'll get into private sector, and then we'll make concluding remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for a purpose. I would like to take this moment to let you have the understanding of the objective of this lecture. Here we would like to build or improve our capacities as individuals, as institutions, to promote sustainable use of our resources around us. And this is considered a feat if it is done collaboratively, involving multi-sectors and also multi-stakeholders. When we talk of sustainability leadership, I think it starts with you as an individual, because after all, you're a leader. You lead your life. The way you lead your life also affects the life of the people around you. So you're a leader. So we must start with you as an individual. Then when we get together to work as an institution, we bring those various experiences from individuals, we put them together. Then an institution also becomes a leader. Like Muni University as an institution will be considered to lead certain things around us. Arua District, Arua City as an institution will be considered as a leader because they will be charged with the responsibilities of leading us in certain aspects. And why do we do all this? This is an attempt to try to do things in different way. Just like Albert Einstein says, doing the same things again, using the same method all the time, yet expecting a different result will be the definition of insanity. We wouldn't like to be in that bracket of insanity definition as provided. So, here is a call to you as an individual, to you as a member that belongs to an institution, to come and do things in different way. Even if we do the same thing, at least we expect different positive result. This is the objective that we want us to achieve through this process of the public lecture. He has ably explained the various key concepts. This includes the concept of leadership, but allow me also to say something again. North House said, leadership is the process of influencing others to achieve a common purpose. So as an individual, I have got to scan it through. If I and you will share a common purpose, the same applies to you. Scan it through and you see if someone else has the same purpose. Because for one reason or another, it might not be easy for one individual to achieve it alone. So when you get together to pursue it, then it becomes easier. But sometimes we consider ourselves leaders when actually nobody knows that we're a leader at all. You may be appointed, you may be elected, you may think you're a leader. But as long as nobody wants to take your influence, and nobody believes that you're a leader, you're a leader alone. So it becomes important for us to scan through to see if we have a common purpose. That's where we begin from. And then influencing somebody to accept doing the same thing in order to achieve that common purpose will be what leadership is. So everyone is a leader in this case. So an individual or an organization as a leader will therefore have to set appropriate goals that is aimed at bringing a positive change. Develop an appropriate plan to bring about the envisaged change. Envisioning a desirable picture somewhere compared to our situation considered to be better. Therefore, as a leader, you'll be expected to be seeing what is not there, which is of course desirable. Deliver communication to the various stakeholders to bring about a belief that indeed there's a desirable situation somewhere else that we need to get to. Sharing that common purpose will motivate members to work together to be able to achieve. So in this case, therefore, you as an individual considered as a leader will be expected to provide guidance, will be expected to provide motivation, direction to that singly envisaged position, because others have not seen it. You who has envisaged it, therefore will be the one to direct people, lead the people to the desired or the promised land. Provision of solution to make the world better. Consider our world right now. Right now, are we in a better world? You can only say yes or no if only you took the burden to compare our current situation with other conditions that exist elsewhere. So as a leader, you will do a lot to bring the desired change. You will also have to adhere to some of the qualities that are already tested and believed. The issue of transparency. We are leaders. You could be a family leader. You could be a class leader. You could be a whatever leader. Are you as transparent as will be expected by those you believe you are leading? Government grants have come. Have you pinned it on the noteboard for the people to know that this is how much we have received so far? Have you made the information available, lest you should be mistaken that you are concealing information for personal purposes? He outlined all this, but we have put them in another way. What about the issue of accountability? It's not enough to say that the receipts are here, they match with the amount of money that was sent, and that's it. No. By accountability, we are looking at the impact that has become positive as a result of our activities. That will be the accountability. Ladies and gentlemen, we wouldn't do much in exploring the meanings of the concepts because they were basically clear right from the first presentation. But allow me also say, for purposes of embassies, that sustainability is the capacity of systems to engage, to handle complex issues on continuous basis, to continue to realize a positive change. So, we as a university, an institution, GIZ, and indeed a number of other institution stakeholders, we engage together to share the challenges that the various institutions feel, so that along the way, solutions will come in the process of discussions as we expect later at the end of this presentation. Sustainability leadership involves bringing together a number of actors to play their expected roles so that it is possible to finally arrive at the common or achievement of the common objective, which should have been defined earlier. We would like to also talk a little bit the competencies expected of us as sustainability leaders. He ably explained this system thinking. Different parts work to feed into each other. How, as a leader, should we mobilize the various parts to work together so that we consider ourselves as a system? Because any part of the system that doesn't fit or make contribution brings the entire body down. Consider your body as a system. Your hand, left one, the other one, right one. Each of these hands contributed to sustaining the whole body. Just imagine a situation that for one reason or another, one of the arms cannot work. Can imagine how reduced the capacity you may experience in trying to do whatever you want to do. External collaborations, we collaborate a lot. European Union, German Development Corporation, and so forth and so forth. This is the way. Social innovations, a lot of practices that do not take us forward exist socially as we work. Can we think through and improve some of them? And indeed, these are some of the competencies that you have to develop. Don't think that someone else elsewhere to develop them. You as an individual, you are first of all a sustainability leader, therefore a player in this case. Think as to how you can do that. But allow me just talk a little more about the three highlighted red. Self-awareness. Are you really personally aware as to how your contribution either lets down the entire system or promotes it? Self-awareness becomes very important in this case. Therefore, all the time as an individual, keep reflecting on your level of awareness as to how you contribute so that you are able to make meaningful contribution in preserving some of our resources that he outlined. This is also to say that you will work beyond your level as a person. In this case, if you are not totally self-aware as to what responsibility you expected to play, then it becomes easier for you to take some of the iron sheets and take them and build your whatever you want to use it for. You'll take the iron sheets. You'll also take the money and use it elsewhere. This is due to lack of self-awareness. The public has trust in you. You worked a lot to build that trust. You drop it down in a few seconds. I was really feeling so bad to one of my members who was publicly brought to be prosecuted over his possession of the iron sheets. So sad to see such a person. What about this other one? Active values. What are the values that you are personally pursuing? What are the values that the organization wants you to contribute to pursue? Organizations list their values all the time, but do you know how to live them actively? For example, if Mono University says professionalism or accountability, as a person, how are you living up to that expectation? I also want to talk about normative aspect as a competence that a sustainable leader must have. There are norms and values. Get to know them. Get to know them. Practice them. That's the only way you can contribute. Otherwise, it will not be easy that we will see the change that we want. Otherwise, we will not have done things differently. We will fall right well within the provisions of the definition of insanity as per Albert Einstein. What about governance? One of the key concepts that we'll also want to highlight. This is an administrative practice characterized by openness, inclusive or participation, provision of accountability, and also behaving in a predictable way. At least we must know that at such a time you will look like this, or this is expected of you. If you concealed predictability, then everyone will be in doubt as to where we're headed. UNDP refers to good governance as not only being corruption-free, but also giving the people the rights, the means, and the capacity to participate in decision-making processes. This is to bring about the expected change. In this case, therefore, don't think that it should be the mayor of the city who is responsible about this, but you must ask the question, how are you helping the mayor? Assuming it was you and the mayor sits down, how will he go about it? It all means all of us make sense, all of us have efforts, all of us have a contribution to make. In a similar way, the European Commission also outlines 5 governance principles: openness, participation, accountability, effectiveness, coherence, and that's it. So how are we living up to these practices that have succeeded elsewhere? OECD provides a similar framework that you can also look at. Issues of fairness, equity, engagement with the citizen and the stakeholders, efficient and effective service delivery. If you look at the institutions that are meant to deliver services, consider Mono as an institution that is to deliver education service. Consider the local governments that are also service delivery bound. What are they doing? And you have the right to question them. Of course you should. And that is why we're here. We're most likely going to also experience the questions as concerned citizens about the issues around us. However, we have bottlenecks to sustainability leadership. If we don't address some of these bottlenecks, it becomes difficult for us to proceed. Otherwise, the question is, why should we need public sector leadership on sustainability? So this goes directly to some of you who are considered as individuals attached to the public sector, and then also you as a person who is responsible about the public sector institution. The United Nations set us the 17 SDGs, and they're about to end 2030. How much have we gone along that direction? The last time I checked the progress report, I don't know if it was underestimate that we have not even gone up to half in as far as achieving those objectives are concerned. Public sector is to spearhead and lead that. The public sector faces a radical and ongoing change, both in the current decade we are in and also the following decade. And to that effect, you will see mega global trends coming up. These will always force us to even do better. And some of these are in the aspects of microeconomics, social and environmental, like he clearly indicated, as far as business and so forth and so forth. Some of the aspects can be shared here quickly, not in details though. Regarding microeconomics, the world is experiencing shifts in centers of influence around the world, and that could have a lot of implications on us. In this case particular, China is drawing a lot of attention. As an institution, the Chinese government is practicing sustainable leadership, is drawing attention of the rest of the world towards them. Like when the president says, I want African leaders here for a conference, they will quickly go. And indeed, many of the leaders around will want to associate themselves with the Chinese government. And that has a lot of implications, especially in the minds of those who do not think it should be like that. That may have a lot of implications for us, even if we are here in Arua. Public sector. Demands on public sector spending are rising dramatically, especially in need of service delivery. And you'll also hear that the central public sector organization, that is the government, will not even be able to provide that. Will not be able to bring the funds to support the ever-increasing demand for service delivery. New consumer groups are emerging with different expectations altogether. New consumption and consumption demand conditions are arising, and as far as issues of safety, issues of quality, issues of security are concerned. These are all things that we have to get prepared for as we head to the next level. Under social environment, technology is part of the new issues. Migration is another. Just yesterday, as I was watching the TV, a boat capsized with migrants from Libya to, is it Italy or somewhere? And this is not something new. Some of those that are moving from here to those ends are professionals that our economies have failed to retain because they are looking for better opportunities. And of course, we are again filled by those others who find our situations conducive for them to exist. Issues of welfare and equity, climate change, water shortage, conflicts all the time. We're experiencing terrible crisis of conflicts in Khartoum as of now. This morning I received a strange comment from the radio stations that whereas countries are making great efforts to evacuate their nationals from Khartoum, our embassy in Khartoum made great efforts to evacuate our own people, but many of them declined. They do not seem to think that they should come back. That means a lot. Countries are running away from the fire, but there are those that do not want to go to their safe countries. It means a lot. What is it here that they do not want to come back for? This is very strange in my opinion. You can think over it further. Yes, industry structures are changing rapidly. We used to have formal industry structures. We know definitely clear that this industry is meant to do this, but now the boundaries are flattened. You cannot understand the nature of competition because other industries do the same things that you thought you'll be the one doing in this industry. So these are some of the challenges. Management is seriously adopting data-driven techniques and mindsets. Most of our institutions have not embraced so much the use of data. We have a lot of data, census reports. How are we using some of this data to inform some of our decisions? The implications of these mega global trends on us here, among others, include this, that governments must be more productive. When we talk of governments, we don't mean the institution as such. We are the government. How are we contributing to make the government do better, as we expect? We're saying governments must do better. Governments must do more, do it even better, and do it with the same amount of resources, taxes. This is calling for great innovative abilities, and it doesn't come from the government as such. It is us individuals. We innovate, we contribute to the tax that the government collects, and that's it. Another implication is that there are new relations that must be developed between the governments and the citizens. And this is so much needed. It must also come with the mindset change of taking responsibility. Because in most cases we think this is government responsibility. It should be the government to do it, but who is the government is always the question that we fail to answer. We are the government, so let's contribute to the institution of the government in order to make it possible for the government to give it back to us. The organizational landscape of public sector must even be redrawn. Now that we are aware, the demand is so much, they cannot be able to do it so much. There is a need for rethinking of what we should expect from the public sector, especially the government. Otherwise, lamentations will not end. Governments should transform the way they employ data in public policy making and also management practices. Are the policies coming on the basis of utilization of the available data? Otherwise, you will find a policy is irrelevant. We indeed have a lot of policies, but they're not practical. This is sometimes because we've not considered use of data in informing the policy formulations. The public sector must improve its ability to compete for talents. In most cases, when we are already with the public sector institutions, we say we are pensionable, we are permanent. And they don't seem to contribute even to sustain the government. In such a way, you come to offices late and leave early. But because nobody has the ability to remove you from there, or even somebody attempts to remove you, the court battles will not end. So I think we need a change here, ladies and gentlemen. The government has even set much more capacity requirements in the recruitment of the civil servants. Because we tend to see redundancy in public sector institutions. Labor is not productive, and that's why the expected change doesn't come. Sustainable public resources utilization, stewardship, even needs mindset. He had alluded into this. He said there are a lot of idle equipment packed in government premises. This could be a car that has broken down that just needs a small spare part. It just needs a small spare part. It continues to rot there until it is left forever. This is not sustainable use of resources, or otherwise replacing that vehicle uses other resources which could have been used for some other purpose. Government has a lot of lands within office premises and elsewhere, undeveloped. It is because the talent level within the civil service is not that active to think as to how we should use these resources. The human resource, already permanent and pensionable, what am I minding about? Of course, when it comes to money, there will never be idle funds or financial resources available because we'll make use of it all the time. Basic facts about Uganda which can be basis for decisions. You are aware of this. Our country is multi-ethnic. Sometimes that needs resources to mobilize. Many languages are spoken. This is also a very difficult activity to bring people to common understanding. Population growth rate is relatively high, and we're said to expect around 2050 to have Uganda's population close to 100 people. The land and the rest of the resources are undeveloped, they are the same. This is creating even a big burden on us. To be sustainable, we need to do something now. Because basically sustainability means use of the resources that are available now without job